So there are quite a lot of different types of animation, although there are 5. So today I'm going to be saying those 5 types of animation that kind of encompass all the other types of animation. So first comes hand-drawn / cell / classical / traditional animation. They're all different names for what is the same thing. I don't know why there's so many names for it. But yeah, everything is drawn by hand, as you could probably tell. Every frame is drawn by hand, or every other frame, depending on whether there's a lot of action in the scene or not. If there's going to be a lot of action, it's going to be probably 1 picture per frame. Although if there's not going to be a lot, it's probably going to be 2 or 3, which 3 is usually used in anime. And yeah, I did a full video about the specifics of how traditional animation works and stuff like that, and that can be found up there. But yeah, for you people that don't want to go away to the other video, which by the way, don't go to the other video yet, go to it at the end if you are going to. The animators basically make rough drawings of what they want the scenes to be, or they basically draw out the scenes in rough. And then they get it checked and approved, and then they're redrawn. Or at least that's how it's traditionally done. There was something done through the ink and pen process. They basically scanned in the rough drawings in a way, and then they handled half of it on a computer. Watch the video up there if you want to know how it was. So yeah, in the kind of traditional process, they redrew them using ink on cell sheet, which is why it's called cell animation. And then they painted on the back of them, like they painted all the colours on the back of it. And then they took a picture of that and they put the pictures next to each other. You've got your animation. So yeah, as you could probably guess, this is how it all started. And nowadays, if you want to do it, you can use an app called Toon Boom Harmony, as well as an app called TV Paint. You can use whichever one you want. And then comes 2D animation, which I'm not going to say anything to anyone that thinks it's the same as traditional animation, because I used to think it was the same as traditional animation. But no, they're 2 very different on the 2D plane. They're 2 very different things. So 2D animation is all vector based. And basically what an animation means to be vector based is, instead of being based on pixels where you like basically draw the entire picture and there's no math behind it, you just draw the picture. Vector is based on points, or vector points. So basically there's a whole load of points, and it's kind of like dot to dot, all these points join together and that makes your shape. So if you use something like Illustrator, that's vector based, as opposed to Photoshop, that's bitmap based, which is the other type. But yeah, that's just basically it's a different type, if you don't understand. But anyway, yeah, 2D animation looks a lot different to traditional animation because it's all done on the computer, and it's usually done through an app called Adobe Animate, which is what used to be Adobe Flash. They just changed the name of it. And as well as this all being vector based, they don't actually have to draw out each individual picture if they don't want to. They can actually have it animate itself between keyframes, so they could like have the hand in that position and have another keyframe in that position, and it'll like animate between there basically. Yeah, they don't have to actually draw the individual steps. Although obviously if you do it step by step, it's going to be more accurate to how you want it to be. You're not relying on a computer to do it. But that can be done. It's really up to the animator if they want to do that. If they want to spend the extra time or not. And yeah, 2D animation is what you'll see in lots of modern cartoons and just animated TV shows and stuff. For quite a lot of their films, they're in 3D. As you can probably guess, stuff is in 3D and it looks more kind of true to life than 2D animation. In this process, they don't actually have to draw out each of the individual frames too, although they usually do go back and tweak the in-betweens between certain keyframes, which the in-betweens are basically like the bits in between that the computer generated. And another key difference between 3D animation as well as 2D animation and traditional animation is they work on 1s, not on 2s or 3s. So there's basically a picture for every single frame. All of those frames different because a character standing just totally still stands out a lot more in 3D animation than it does in 2D animation. I mean, if you look back at any 2D animated film, you'll see lots of scenes where there's characters just static. And that looks totally fine in a 2D animated movie, but in a 3D animated movie, they just can't get away with that. So they have to constantly be kind of shifting them slightly if they're standing still or something like that. And they also have to be aware of every part of the character, because they're relying on 3D models. All of the characters there's none of it that isn't there, if you know what I mean. So, for example, if they're filming somebody from the side, they have a frame doing some weird motion or whatever, They have to make sure it all looks good and there's nothing kind of out of form, even if it isn't supposed to be in the frame, if you know what I mean. So yeah, anyway, this is pretty much what replaced traditional animation and is what is widely used by Disney and Pixar and all of those nowadays. And yeah, you can make 3D animated movies through the use of Cinema 4D as well as Blender and a few other programs here and there. And then comes motion graphics, which is totally different to all of the other types of animation that I'm going to mention here. Motion graphics are what I used in adverts, and well, my intro is basically motion graphics. It's basically when text moves around, when images move around, when you use something like After Effects to basically put keyframes to say, I want to move this picture there after this certain amount of time. It's most certainly not least is stop motion animation. Films like Kubo and the Two Strings were used with stop motion, and if you see the behind the scenes for them, they're pretty insane. So there's quite a few different types of stop motion. You can use stuff like Lego, you can go just the model route where you're just using different types of materials to make models, you can use clay, you can use whatever. I mean, I used to make stop motion videos for a bit. I did the whole stop motion unboxing thing on my previous channel. You can go back and have a look at some of those. I'll link up motion videos, and they are pretty fun to do. They're very tiresome. It's a lot of repetitive, like slightly frame by frame, and make it look like it's moving. That's basically stop motion. Although obviously Kubo and the Two Strings and stuff like that are a lot more complicated. And for this one, you don't actually have to use the programs that are dedicated to it. So there's stuff like Dragon Frame as well as iStopMotion, which is only available on the Mac. But when I did my stop motion videos for like my laptop unboxing and stuff like that, I didn't actually use either of this mode, and I just basically took the pictures that way. And then when I had a whole load of pictures, I put them into I put them into Premiere Pro, and I put them side by side to go out buying anything new. But yeah, those are all the different types of animation. If you like this video, if you learned anything, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video still, be sure to give it a like and be sure to subscribe to see more videos like this one, as well as reviews and stuff. I'm changing up my life tip series. I don't think I'm going to be doing it anymore. I'm going to be doing a whole bad movies series, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Hope you all have a great day. This light is really blinding me. Bye.